To bring peace to the earth, strive to make your own life peaceful. Now, this quote will make so much more sense by the end of the video, so stick around to find out. And in today's video, we are going to discuss boundaries, setting healthy boundaries, what that looks like, what it doesn't look like, the importance of it, truly understanding in depth what boundaries are and how that affects your mental health and your way of living. It is far more impactful than you have led yourself to believe or will ever believe. But after this video, you would have so much more clarity and more power to take charge over your life. So let's get straight into it. So your boundaries are your principles that you set for yourself physically and emotionally that help you decide what is wrong, what is right, what you want to tolerate, what you don't want to tolerate, and what you want and what you don't want. So this is important for maintaining your health through physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Think of them as your invisible guidelines to feel more safe, secure, and comfortable in your own being and in your own life. Having strong boundaries is power, gives you a sense of purpose to follow and to be within. So being so clear and being so concise within your boundaries, honey, you are powerful. When you set boundaries for yourself, okay, no matter how small or how big, you are combating feelings of feeling overwhelmed, anxious, unexpressive, being authentic, being honest, being the people pleaser, saying no when you really mean yes or vice versa, giving too much, giving when you don't even have, being seen for who you are and not what you can give is a true power that we all admire and we all want deep down. And you're going to see that theme across this video and how it is all connected to your mind, body, and soul, and how you can't have one without the other. So having strong boundaries really is setting yourself up for your life. It's the foundation to your life. It's the engine to your car, as I like to say. So keep that in mind, and keep in mind that this is a skill. It is a working process. It's not perfection. You don't get it after this one quick tip, okay? You need to implement it. Consistency is key. So this is where it gets juicy, because now we start to explore the common traits of someone with unhealthy boundaries. And I know that most of these, probably all of them, you are a victim of, and I know I was, because I'm only speaking from my experience here. So feelings of being overwhelmed, giving too much when you don't have too much, sacrificing your time for others, putting others first, saying yes to overtime when you don't want to, saying no when you really mean yes, or saying yes when you really mean no, not really knowing what you want, so you kind of just let life take you by the wing, and it just leaves you feeling more clustered and more unfulfilled and more stuck than you were before. You know, being a people pleaser, I'm sure everyone has heard that one before, being a people pleaser. And what that truly means is giving your time and thinking that it's valuable and justified by you giving your time and you getting something in exchange, like money or a meeting or a bonus or whatever it may be, and tricking yourself to think that it's okay, you can cross this boundary because I gain something from it, but I lose my mental health, but I gain physical currency. It never plays well. Okay, so now let's look at some examples. So one example being, say you're having a party now, you're having a dinner party, all your friends around, there's good vibes, good food, everyone's chilling, everyone's having a good time, but you look at the time and you realize it's nearly midnight. You've got to be up early in the morning, you've still got to clean, you've still got to get ready for bed and then go to bed and get up on time. But no one looks like they're ready to leave. Everyone's having a cushy time. Nobody wants to leave. So what do? Do you voice, or do you just stay there? 99% of the time you won't say nothing. You're just going to sit there and you're just going to wait for them to leave when the mood strikes, because it's rude. You don't want to come across anything other than what you are presenting yourself. So you just leave it up to fate to decide. I'm like, oh, it's fine, I'll just grab an extra coffee in the morning. But can you see that you are eventually going to start feeling irritable. You're going to start feeling uncomfortable and start feeling anxious for the next day ahead. And you can't fully be in the moment now and enjoy the rest of the evening with your friends because you're anxious for the hours to come because you didn't voice anything. Another example is at work. When you're at work and you're having a fun time, everything's good, and you've got a fitness class straight after work and you're excited for it. But then your boss comes up to you and says, "Hey, Dylan, can you do an extra 3 hours? Oh, I could really do with the extra hand, and you're the best person in this place to do it. I wouldn't ask anyone else." You immediately say yes because it's extra money. They see your worth and you are the best in there. So you're having a little ego trip and you're like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll just go to another fitness class another day. Although I was really excited about it, it doesn't matter. Money's more important. Means more freedom for me. But deep down, you don't want to be there. So you're doing your overtime now, moaning that you're doing the overtime that you chose to do when you could have been in the fitness class. So these are two great examples of how we don't exercise healthy boundaries, So now let's look at healthy boundaries. So if we go back to the dinner party and we look at the dinner party now and rewind. So now you're starting to feel like you look at the time, you say, okay, it's now time for people to leave. You cannot, and if they're your true friends, they will understand. You go up to them like, hey guys, it's been a great evening, but guys, it's nearly midnight. I've got to go to bed. I've still got to clean. I've still got to get ready for bed. I've got to be up early. If you guys don't mind, maybe next time we could do it a little bit earlier and we can chill more. But and you never know how they react. They might turn around and be like, "Hey, dude, that's cool. Let me help you do the dishes, and then we'll be on our way. Thank you for a lovely evening." And it could all be well, and you would feel so much more relaxed and at peace, and your mental would be at ease by just exercising your authentic expression. It doesn't really take much to exercise these boundaries. You just go off with your intuition, your feelings of your current mood that align with your intentions and your core values that align with your boundaries, which we're going to get into a little bit later, so bear with me. Or they might react completely different to what you expect and take that rude and be like, "What's happened to you? Why don't you like us? Why are you gonna leave? Like, what's wrong with us? Well, you've never been a problem. Why is it a problem now?" I like to just tell you that that's not your problem. How someone reacts is not your problem. You've done your part. You've said it nicely. You feel great. You've said what you wanted. This is your house. This is your territory. Okay. And how they react, there's not your problem. Okay. That's just them projecting onto you, and don't let that discourage you and feel so uncomfortable that you retract back and be like, "You know what, guys, it's fine." It's we all have to go through that uncomfortable push initially when we start setting boundaries to somewhat show them my new identity in a way. This is the real me. This is what I stand for. This is what I don't want. This is what I want. And you're crossing it right now. I love and respect you. It's nothing personal. It's just what I want. And when you can truly get into that mindset and really show that through your body language and the way you articulate yourself and express and be honest to yourself as well as the other people, they will sense that and it wouldn't come across rude. And how they react is not your problem, okay? And if they're your true friends, they wouldn't react the worst. They would react with compassion and respect and admire you for actually voicing what you want. So give it a go, and especially around true friends, it's just fun and games, you can laugh as you express, and it also helps to look around your surroundings and pay more attention to conversations with people that you admire, or people when you watch films or anything, where you're at work or you're on the tube, just listen to conversations with people exercising their boundaries. You realize that we are all walking in our boundaries because your boundaries are essentially your core values. They're what you stand for, they're your purpose, it's your principles, it's your intentions in life. I want to go to the barbers today, I'm going to go to the barbers. I want to go to the gym today, I'm going to go to the gym because that's what I respect. That's how I spend my time. No, I don't want to do overtime. No, I'm not okay with you staying longer than you should. No, just no, and not having to explain yourself. There is true power in that. And it's only when I switched from that mindset to where I am now with this new profound mindset of being authentic and honest and not feeling guilty for it. It's a superpower. It's a skill, but it's a superpower. Okay, things changed for me. I was at my friend's house one day and I came across this book, and the first page read, if you want to leave, leave, don't give a fuck. Okay, and it hit me because I never understood boundaries or what it truly meant to set healthy boundaries until someone really simplified it and just kind of it into my face and said, shut the fuck up, this is what it is, okay? And this is how you do it. And if they don't like it, then screw them, I guess, But obviously, there is such a loving approach to this. And another great thing to remember is that you want to respect other people's boundaries if you want your boundaries to be respected. It's a give and take. Life is give and take, in harmony of liberty of life. So, understanding boundaries. Understanding boundaries is understanding yourself, is knowing yourself, is being true to yourself. It's being true and healthy to your own physical and mental health. And that is because you are exercising a skill. It is a skill that is required of you for your optimal health, for your mental health, as well as your physical health. Because if you maintain setting boundaries, it is going to shift your life profoundly. It may be a bit scary for you. You might find it a bit challenging and uncomfortable at first because it's so outside the box. But that is okay, because with anything really, right? If you think about it, it's when it's new, it's scary. But once we get used to it, we're like, hey, this ain't so bad. Okay, it's exactly like that. Because when I first started setting boundaries, believe me, it was uncomfortable. I felt mean. I felt rude. I felt guilty. I felt like I had to say yes. And I felt like my time really wasn't as important as whatever I was giving myself to, because that I didn't see my self-worth. I was lacking clarity on my purpose and my direction in life. So I was just giving and giving and giving and hoping something will come out of it. But life was just grabbing me and cheering me up and spinning me back out again and leaving me in square one each time. And I'll be in this vicious cycle. It was depressing. It was a depressing lockdown. Okay. So I'm here to show you practical tips that I had used and I'm still using today to help me get out of that depressing cocktail mix into a life full of authentic expression and great mental health that I would have never had if I didn't exercise healthy boundaries. And the first one is journaling. Journal down your core values. Write down questions around core values. So ask yourself, what are my core values? What do I value in life? If money, space, time wasn't a factor, what am I standing for? What is it that I truly want? What is it that I truly care for? Okay. And just explore yourself. What are your thoughts, your 24-hour thoughts? What are your experiences that shift you? How did that make you feel? What did you learn from that? What do you feel like you carried from that? How do you value your time and your worth? How do you see yourself? How does it make you feel when you exert boundaries and when you don't exert your boundaries? Just journal all of this down, and it would help to actually make it look pretty and artistic. So like highlight the questions and write in pen the answers, and add some colors and just kind of put it on your wall so you see it, and constantly reinforce it back into yourself until it becomes an unconscious habit and thought that you naturally are just being the core value instead of having to constantly remind yourself of who you are. Now, it will feel uncomfortable at first. It wouldn't feel normal. You will feel mean. I can't put myself first. That's horrible. And I understand being a people pleaser, especially for myself. When I was a people pleaser, I would lead myself to believe that it's a loving thing, it's service to all. I was giving myself to all, but I was going about it in such a wrong way that it was leaving me drained, and I was unaware of that because I wasn't connected to myself, my worth, and my values, that I couldn't hear or see or feel what it is that I truly, truly wanted and what was right for me. you know and it goes back to the quote, strive to make your own life peaceful before you try to bring peace to the world. Because if you don't put yourself first, if you don't prioritize yourself and your self love, what have you got to give? How can you spread more love and be that people pleaser that you think is a great thing and give? You can't. And because if you do go out your way to be a people pleaser now, even further, and give yourself even more, people will pick up on that. You're not present. You're being moody. You're coming across rude. You don't want to be here. It's obvious. And if anything, they might turn around and be, you're not listening to me. And they feel worse than when they started because you wasn't truly present. So if anything, you're doing more harm than good when you are not at your optimal strength and well-being. So it's so important to put yourself first, prioritize yourself in your self-care. And this goes lovely into the next tip, which is practicing self-compassion, self-love, and self-worth. And self-respect. It's all intertwined, it's all connected. When you practice one, you practice all. So let's say self-love. When you practice self-love, and that looks different for all of us, and that could look like going out, taking yourself out on a date to your favorite restaurant, taking yourself to a museum, treating yourself to new props for your artwork, creating something, going to that fitness class, and just giving time for you, making time for you. Make that a core value. Self-love is a core value. You value yourself so much that you're willing to sacrifice that party tonight, sacrifice overtime and the extra £50, sacrifice going out to the club tonight, sacrifice all of the things that don't align with your self-care and values, because it helps to have a reason, because now you can avert back to, this is why. We work best when we have reasons and we know that we're going to gain something back from it. So allow yourself that moment. Just replace what you would normally do with good habits that align with your core values and see how that works for you. And another tip, which is great, is support. Seeking support. Do not be afraid to seek support when you need it most, especially when you're starting out with expressing and trying to set yourself boundaries. It can be it can be an uncomfortable transition that most of us are not ready for without true guidance. I know I needed guidance, and I always seeked it from loved ones, and I would always ask them that little things that I would see in them that I admired, that I wanted to set for myself, especially when it came to men. It's like, how do you exercise this boundary with this man if if and how did it benefit you, and how it's changed your life. I want to change my life too, how you find that power. And I was so admired by it that I would go up to her and ask her, so tell me what it takes to set such a boundary. How did it feel for you? What did it mean for you? And just seek support and practice with your friends if it makes you feel better. Practice with your friends saying, hey guys, I'm going to practice setting my boundaries on you and let me know how it comes out. Am I articulating myself nicely? Do I come across rude? And be the best that you can be, all by respecting each other. Also, be sure to start small, okay? Don't go tackling the big dogs, start small with, exercising. No, I don't want to come out tonight, no, I don't want to do overtime. Like, deal with the little dogs that are easier for you and less challenging, because it might seem really intimidating and off-putting if you go striving for the big ones that are going to demand more of you, that you are not fully ready to give yet. So start small. Start with the incremental steps to work up to the ultimate big goal. Be patient with yourself and remember that it's a skill that requires consistency, patience and your love and affection and constant reinforcement and reflection into your core values to keep it fresh and keep it real and authentic to you. And remember, you do not need permission. You do not need permission to value yourself and put yourself first. Just how other people that you admire value themselves first and put themselves first and didn't seek any permission from anyone else, you're the same. You are the same worth. There is nothing different. The only difference is they confidently express their boundaries. Now, to deal with some of the most challenging kind of confrontations or predicaments that you might find yourself with people when you start to express your boundaries can be quite challenging. And if anything, the most challenging part, especially with being a people pleaser and over time and being that person that people fall on when they want something. You know, you're the person around you because they know you would always say yes. So it's important to remember and accept that other people's reactions, once again, are not your problem. You just focus on you being the best that you can and expressing the new authentic self. You know, it is a complete new identity. If you haven't already realized that adopting healthy boundaries is a new identity, it's a social detox, it's a mental detox, it's a physical detox. Things will change. People in your life will come and go. How you live your life, your career will change. How you see creativity, how you value yourself and you respect yourself will shift. So be patient with this journey and this process. So dealing with guilt and feeling shameful for saying no when you normally say yes is completely common. Feeling like you are not worthy enough to say what you want and feeling powerless and not feeling vocal enough is a lot of the common traits that you will experience whilst you begin to voice and set your boundaries. And I can tell you the ultimate way to overcome this is by just going through it, is to go through it anyway, to just go through the uncomfortableness. I mean, just ride through it. You literally just ride through it. It helps to just reinforce affirmations into yourself, which is another great powerful tool that I use and I want you to use now, is to just reinforce back into yourself that affirmation when you're in those moments. So for instance, an affirmation for you could be, I am worthy of putting myself first. And you can just constantly, like a mantra, repeat it back to yourself. I am worthy of setting boundaries. I am worthy of this time. I am worthy of this, X, Y, and Z. Whatever resonates with you, that's going to be emotionally charged, that will stimulate a reaction for you to be like, this is what it is, accept the new me. And whilst you practice more into your self-love and your compassion and your worth, easier and more effortless it will flow through you to be like, no, this is what I want, this is not aligning with my energy, I can't give you this right now, I hope you can understand. And like I said before, it's not up to you how they react. Their projections are not your problem. Okay? So relax, surrender, and try to not take it to heart so much, you know, because it is uncomfortable at first and you will feel most of these things. But once you push through it, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I promise you, it's filled with more mental health, better physical health. You feel happier, you're more confident, you are more consistent, you are more powerful, you're more authentic. Your throat chakra will be blooming with all the vocals that you will be singing and expressing out. So see it as a true spiritual practice and a way to really understand yourself. It's an art. You're crafting an art when you are expressing. You know, find different ways to express yourself and different ways to articulate yourself and be, you know, find it as an opportunity to truly express who you want to be, you know, because you never know, you might just be inspiring other people, just how I saw in my friends inspired me and they never thought of anything of it. It was just an unconscious habit for them to set these boundaries. And it can be like that for you too, by just being that inspiration, being inspired, the give and take, respecting others and respecting yourself. That brings us to the end of the video. I hope this video had brought you so much value that you go and take action right now. And if it didn't, leave me a comment and let's start discussing and I can help you. So follow and subscribe for more daily tips and wisdom, as well as weekly videos of me just discussing topics that most of us struggle with, that stop us from voicing our true, authentic expressions and finding that mental health that we all want and being our optimal self. And this comes through a lot of spiritual and mental and physical practices, that it doesn't have to be so mundane, it doesn't have to be so challenging, but it could be fun, exciting, creative process. And I'm here to make that a reality for you. So until next time, stay creative, stay happy, and stay healed.